The Guardians of the Galaxy may be known for their cosmic adventures, but their lineup has never stayed the same for long. Over the years, Marvel has quietly erased key members, abandoning familiar faces due to corporate mandates, licensing nightmares, and brutal editorial shifts while hoping readers wouldn't look back. Some departures made sense, others felt abrupt, and a few happened so quietly that many fans barely noticed. These weren't temporary roster changes during a mission, they were shifts that permanently altered the team's identity. But why were these Guardians replaced in the first place? Here are 10 Guardians of the Galaxy members Marvel quietly abandoned. At number 10 is Phyla-Vell. Phyla-Vell officially joined the team in Guardians of the Galaxy Issue 1 in the definitive Abnett and Lanning cosmic era. Operating first as Quasar and later as Martyr, this character became part of the Guardians during this period, filling a highly specific role on the roster. The fierce, heavily burdened, sword-wielding powerhouse who served as the team's lethal enforcer. During the Annihilation, she quickly became the physical and emotional anchor of the entire book. However, Phyla was unceremoniously killed off by Thanos in 2010. But instead of eventually bringing her back from the dead, Marvel effectively duplicated their exact team function, drafting a newer character to take over their spot, Angela. To generate hype for the 2013 relaunch, Marvel literally bought the rights to Angela, a competitor's character originally from Image Comics' Spawn, and aggressively slotted her into the roster to usurp Phyla's powerhouse enforcer archetype. At number 9 is Jack Flag. Jack Flag joined Guardians of the Galaxy Issue 9 in 2009. He filled a necessary void on the roster. The grounded, gun-toting, street-level Earth brawler who provided cynical, everyman commentary on the absurdity of cosmic space battles. Jack's pragmatic perspective made him the perfect foil to high-concept heroes like Warlock and Drax. When the 2008 run ended, Jack was quietly written off the team and sent back to Earth. Yet, Marvel realized they needed a much bigger name to push modern comic sales. Marvel effectively duplicated their exact team function, drafting a newer character to take over their spot, Agent Venom. To boost sales during the 2014 Marvel Now era, Marvel mandated an A-list Avenger, and Flash Thompson completely absorbed Jack's entire niche. Now, Jack is little more than a footnote in cosmic history. At number 8 is Bug. Bug formally entered the lineup within the pages of the 2008 series' 7th issue. Entering the cosmic fray, he assumed a highly unique archetype, a remarkably swift, bug-themed scoundrel delivering constant comedic levity and impressive aerial maneuvering. Throughout his tenure, this acrobatic thief acted as a brilliant scene stealer. His lightning-fast reflexes and distinct fourth-wall-breaking charm provided necessary brightness against an otherwise grim, battle-heavy narrative. During this era, he stood as an incredibly vital, beloved cornerstone of the crew. However, complex licensing issues surrounding his origins meant the publisher could not retain his long-term usage rights. Consequently, right before the massive cinematic synergy revamp, he was silently scrubbed from the books. The editors essentially cloned his exact conceptual footprint, enlisting Scott Lang to usurp his position. Capitalizing on his growing cinematic momentum, Marvel drafted Scott Lang in 2017 to step in as the agile, insect-style jokester struggling to navigate deep space. Due to those ongoing legal hurdles, Bug is currently missing from all modern comic continuity. And if you think losing a fan favorite to licensing issues was bad, the next Guardian was far more important. He was one of the franchise's original cornerstones. At number 7 is Vance Astro. Major Vance Astro debuted in Marvel Superheroes issue 18 and founded the original Guardians. He set the standard for a very specific team dynamic, the time-displaced, Earth-born tactical leader, struggling to hold a dysfunctional team of aliens together. Wielding Captain America's shield, he was the moral compass and unquestioned captain of the 31st Century Squad. You would think founding the franchise would secure your legacy. When Marvel rebooted the cosmic universe in 2008 with a modern team, Vance was briefly featured as an anomaly frozen in ice, but eventually written out. But editors realized they wanted a fresh face for the exact same job. Marvel effectively duplicated their exact team function, drafting a newer character to take over their spot, Star-Lord. Peter Quill stepped perfectly into Vance's archetype. Locked out of the 616 universe today, they remain largely sidelined and overshadowed by the very character who inherited their place. At number 6 is Charlie 27. Introduced alongside Vance Astro back in the 1969 classic Marvel Superheroes issue 18, Charlie 27 established a formidable legacy within the original Cosmic Squad. Engineered specifically for high-gravity environments, this Jovian soldier operated as the unquestioned heavyweight brawler and stoic military tactician. Throughout the renowned 90s comic run, his immense physical durability and brilliant battlefield strategies proved absolutely essential for surviving relentless onslaughts from Imperial forces like the Badoon. Back then, he operated as the fundamental bedrock of the entire operation. However, once the publishing house decided to completely modernize the franchise, this veteran powerhouse was unceremoniously benched to make room. The editors effectively copy-pasted his functional blueprint by elevating Drax the Destroyer. Following his radical Annihilation redesign, Drax transitioned from his 90s-era mindless juggernaut persona into a calculated, stoic, heavily muscled combat specialist, stepping flawlessly into the exact void left behind. Consequently, this iconic Jovian founder is now restricted entirely to brief, highly nostalgic multiverse cameos, forever eclipsed by his modern cinematic successor. At number 5 is Martinex. Debuting as a founding entity in the late 60s, Martinex Tanaga served as the hyper-logical, crystalline intellect of the crew. This silicon-based pluvian functioned as the ultimate problem solver, constantly analyzing bizarre spatial anomalies and repairing vital starship machinery. For decades, his unparalleled scientific brilliance made him a fundamentally crucial pillar of the original roster. Yet, as editorial preferences pivoted toward high-octane pacing for contemporary audiences, the methodical researcher archetype was deemed obsolete, and he was quietly phased out. To fill the resulting intellectual void while maximizing corporate profits, writers drafted Tony Stark during the 2013 comic reboot. Iron Man immediately monopolized the designated tech genius niche, deciphering vast extraterrestrial technology and handling complex mechanical issues to boost mainstream sales. Furthermore, once the armored Avenger eventually departed, Rocket Raccoon permanently assumed those highly intricate engineering duties, leaving the original Pluvian scholar completely forgotten by modern readers and entirely locked out of the current cosmic publishing landscape for the foreseeable future. At number 4 is Starhawk. Starhawk joined the classic team in Defenders issue 27 in 1975. He wasn't just a background player, stepping up as the intensely powerful, omniscient cosmic entity who cryptically manipulates the team from behind the scenes for the greater good. Known as One Who Knows, Starhawk's immense power and secretive agendas drove much of the narrative conflict in the 1990s. As Marvel shifted focus toward the Annihilation era, Starhawk's convoluted continuity, sharing a physical body with Aleta, was deemed too dense for new readers. However, the modern writers still needed a brooding cosmic entity. Marvel effectively duplicated their exact team function, drafting a classic heavyweight to take over their spot, Adam Warlock. He joined to play the exact same archetype. Today, they remain largely sidelined and overshadowed by the very character who inherited their place. But now, we're getting into the most shocking cases of all, where Marvel didn't just sideline these Guardians, they replaced them with newer versions of the exact same character archetype. At number 3 is Talon. Talon was introduced to the team in Guardians of the Galaxy issue 18. He was injected into the lineup to serve as the highly aggressive, feral, animal-adjacent brawler with a major attitude problem. As an inhuman with razor-sharp claws, enhanced agility, and an incredibly short temper, Talon brought a Wolverine-style edge to the book. His chaotic unpredictability made him a fan-favorite asset. When the classic run ended, Talon was entirely abandoned by Marvel editorial. But the current book still required an animal-adjacent brawler with a hair-trigger temper. Marvel effectively duplicated their team function, drafting an obscure 70s character to take over their spot on the modern roster, Rocket Raccoon. Rocket perfectly filled the aggressive animal void, pairing the exact same chaotic energy with heavy artillery. Today, they remain largely sidelined and overshadowed by the very character who inherited their place. At number 2 is Aleta Ogard. Formally established as an independent, fully separated entity in the 1990 run after years of sharing a physical body with Starhawk, Aleta Ogard brought a distinctly strict military approach to the squad. She operated seamlessly as a radiant heavy hitter, capable of soaring through space. Generating solid light constructs and wielding immense ambient power, this formidable heroine naturally ascended to unquestioned leadership, stepping completely out from beneath her former partner's shadow to confidently guide the entire operation. For a significant era, her overwhelming capabilities anchored the comic. Yet, after Jim Valentino departed the title, editors abruptly dropped her compelling personal arc, discarding her from the primary narrative. To engineer fresh cinematic synergy, executives deliberately recycled her conceptual footprint, injecting Carol Danvers into the 2014 lineup. Captain Marvel flawlessly absorbed the disciplined tactical mindset and dazzling energy aesthetics of her predecessor. Because this newly anointed blockbuster superstar secured such immense, widespread popularity across the publishing line, the original luminescent commander was permanently marginalized, erased from contemporary storylines, and entirely superseded forever. At number 1 is classic Yondu. Originating from Earth 691 within the pages of the 1969 milestone Marvel Superheroes issue 18, the original Yondu Udonta debuted as a deeply spiritual Centaurian mystic. Armed with his iconic Yaka arrow, this noble warrior operated as the philosophical conscience and quiet soul of the foundational squad. Possessing a strict honor code and profound connection to nature, his unique presence grounded the futuristic cosmic adventures for decades. However, theatrical synergy orchestrated his ultimate demise. When the 2014 blockbuster reinvented him as a morally bankrupt, cynical space pirate, comic editors ruthlessly erased the seasoned mystic to match the silver screen. In the most blatant corporate replacement ever executed, publishers introduced a present-day counterpart claiming to be a distant ancestor. This modern iteration was a carbon copy of the cinematic scoundrel, utterly hijacking the signature weapon gimmick. Consequently, the honorable archer was deliberately sacrificed for box office alignment, leaving the classic alien founder permanently discarded in favor of a much louder, highly profitable Hollywood doppelganger. The Guardians changed, but not every replacement worked. Comment your pick below, subscribe now, and turn on notifications.